You see,
or on the level of consciousness. That is another way of saying that.
What is actually happening? Because I know, because my wife's a homeopath, and I know she can make these little white pills in the machine she's got, and that's a vibration. Now, I understand that it's energy of vibration, but at a tangible level, there's virtually nothing in those pills.
Yeah.
And yet we take the pills, and, you know, certainly for me, things have happened when I've taken homeopathic remedies. It's different for different people. I'm not saying it works for everybody. But what is the fact behind it? Is it to do with the motivation of the homeopath, the intention of the homeopath? Is it really to do with the energy in the pill? Is it to do with the relationship between the homeopath and the client? Or is it all of those? I don't know. What is it that works?
And neither do I. But it might be easier to start with some statements about what it isn't. Okay, I don't believe that it is simply to do with the intention of the homeopath, because the homeopath can have very definite intentions. This remedy is going to work. Boom, it does nothing. Next remedy does nothing. Every homeopath has seen this. A number of remedies do nothing, and then another remedy is given and everything changes. So that would seem to suggest this is not simply to do with the intention of the homeopath. It seems that there are definite laws here to do with similarity, that once some kind of energetic entity is brought into contact through similarity with another energetic entity, that somehow in that meeting, and I think this is to do with consciousness and it is to do with recognition, somehow in that meeting something can fundamentally change. It's as though you want to change, the person wants to change, you want to be back in the energy flow. What's stopping you is simply an idea.
Yeah, because if you go to make the appointment, you go to see the homeopath, there's an intention from the client because they made the effort, haven't they?
Yes. We don't know what the place of intention is.
Yeah.
But it does seem that there are specific laws that if you can take a substance and you can match it, that it is similar to the person's state, then something does change, that some kind of healing reaction is initiated. That's the sort of given that homeopaths work with. From that flow all kinds of theories about how and why that happens. But most homeopaths will have the experience and patience, and this has been going on for 200 years, don't forget. You know, this is not like a little sort of side issue. You know, there's lots of evidence to kind of support this.
So there's a quote here I wanted to just to read from your book, that health implies a functional and experiential wholeness. The parts function harmoniously together as part of a greater whole, a sense of unity. And that's pretty much where we've begun to in our discussions so far. It's part of a greater whole and a sense of unity.
Yes.
We lose that sense of unity and we start to get, in your words again, dis-ease.
Yeah, exactly. So if we say that unity underlies everything, that everything is unity, in fact, that there is only oneness, if we were to take that as a starting point, then the journey is from this sense of being someone separate, which arises through birth. And once that arises, then the primal unity starts to get, as it were, chopped up. Because this separate sense, this sense of separate self becomes the chooser and accepts certain things and rejects other things. And so a fundamental sort of split or division takes place in your makeup. And that's kind of supported by your education and the way society is structured and so forth. So you might say that the journey to health is to bring those parts back into unity.
And it's a journey back to wholeness, in effect.
It's a journey back to wholeness. And what is, as it were, what you eventually begin to realise, what is, as it were, presiding over that, is not you, your ego, because that's a sort of bit part player in the whole thing, is awareness itself. That the ultimately the unifying principle, that which integrates all, is the self, is the one awareness. Now, in the meantime, we might need homeopathy to help that process of integration. But I think in non-dual awareness, what you begin to realise is that actually it's, if you just get out of the way, it's a natural function of the self to integrate things. All will come into integration and balance and wholeness, left to its own devices. But we need things like homeopathy, because in the human journey we've wandered so far from that. We've wandered so far from it that we're so far down a kind of one-way alley, as it were, that we need various kind of processes and systems and mechanisms to kind of facilitate that coming back towards oneness. Does this make any sense?
It makes absolute sense, but it's raising a question too for me.
Right.
The oneness doesn't necessarily imply perfect health, though, does it?
No. No.
So we can have disease, we can have illness, and homeopathy and basically a general sense of understanding and realisation and integration of the bigger picture can help, but it doesn't mean to say all our aches and pains are going to go away and everything is hunky-dory with the body after that.
No. Because the aches and pains, the dysfunctions, the dis-ease is the image of the disintegration.
Okay, let me just... what do you mean by that, the image of the...
When we see it as one whole,
Yeah.
we see the picture of disintegration.
Right.
We see the way that the fundamental illusion about yourself has created pain and suffering, which is to say disintegration.